Hey guys, Fiona Whitten from Oakville Crafts here. I hope you're having a good day. Thank you for joining me. I hope you can see clearly. I've got my setup here and I've just been playing around with lights. So hopefully this is all working well. Just going to quickly double check that this has gone live up on my Facebook page, and who only knows because I can't see anything. Good old Facebook. So anyway, I'm just going to assume that this is live and I'm just going to carry on in my own merry little way. So today we've got a stamping and creating, and I'm going to feature the On the Horizon, some of the items from the On the Horizon collection. I did a class last Saturday. Actually, this is one of the cards that we made. The original that we had in class actually had a circular aperture rather than a rectangular one. But I'm going to change things out for today, and I'm just going to show you how I created this and then take it that little bit further. So sit back, enjoy. I will add photos and things later once I get a chance to post it all onto Facebook. And obviously if you've got any comments, I would say let me know, but I cannot see anything at the moment. So I really do hope that this is live. Oh well. Okay, the foibles of Facebook. You've got to admit that sometimes it does what you think it's going to do and other times it doesn't. Oh well, anyway, as I said, I am not going to hang around. So I'm going to, as I said, I'm going to share this with you. This is how to make one of these, although I'm going to change it out. So I've got the On the Horizon stamp set, and I've also got the coordinating dies. Those of you who haven't seen them, they are great for creating a little scene. So we've got mountains, we've got bits of landscape that you can use. We have bits that are like fencing, little houses or beach huts, whatever you want to use them as. Trees. This is the other part of the mountain, so there's two parts to it. There's the background, then this is the bit that actually creates the snow. There's some wreaths, grass, whatever you want to call it, and then this is actually a coordinating die for this piece here. So if you want to create a sentiment or just have some wood paneling or whatever, so that's what I'm using. I'm also using the paper now. It's a 6x6 pack. I haven't got the whole lot here. So this paper here, I just have to find it. So these were the two pieces that we originally used. So as you can see, this corner here is up here, and then this is down here, and then this bit here is the mountains that go behind. But it's up to you whether you want to use something like that or go for something different. And in fact, I am going to go something different today because I'm going to create a landscape card. So I'm going to use these two pieces. Well, those two, oh, there was another one that I had, which I know. Oh, there it is. Oh, there is also these two. And the nice thing about these is actually, although that's an horizon, you don't have to use it that way. You could use it that way, so you've got more of a dark blue sky and you've got your reflections here, or as I said, this one, which I had this way, you've got a lighter sky and darker water. And then similarly this one, you've got a light sky, dark water, or whatever view you want to create it with it. Or you can go the other way and say you've got reflections here. So it's up to you what you want to use and how you want to use it. which way up you go. So I'm going to use these two, she says. I'm going to put my stamp set to one side and the dies because I don't need them for a minute. So we're going to create card base. I'm going to make a landscape card. Those of you who've watched these before will know that when I do a landscape card, I actually prefer to have my fold at the end rather than at the top. So it does mean that you have to, well, you don't have to do it my way. I just prefer it this way because then I know that when I stand the card up, sometimes they sort of flatten out on you. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut my cardstock in half along the whole length. So this is a standard A4 sheet, so it's 21 centimetres wide. So I'm just going to cut it at 10.5 centimetres, like so. And then I am going to score it at 14.9. It's 29.7 long, which is the standard for A4. And in fact, I'm actually going to score it at like 14.85 or 8 and a bit, not quite the 29. So let's score that like that. So that is going to be my card base. I'll fold that in half. Oops. So it does make for a slightly better, a more stable landscape card actually. Let's do this. There we go. So after that, the first thing you want to do is you're going to want to work out where do you well, first off, you're going to decide what elements here do you want showing on your front piece. So this is the bit that you're going to cut the aperture in. So I quite like that bit, bearing in mind that we're going to cut an aperture, so you're not going to see that middle portion. So I'm going to cut this so that it's 10 by 14.4. So basically it's half a centimetre shorter and narrower than my base card. So it's going to look like that, but then with a hole in. And then I need to decide, do I want to do a circle or do I want to do a rectangle? And I think I'm going to stick with a rectangle. So I'm going to bring in my stitch rectangle dies. And then the question is how big an aperture do I want? Do I want one that's virtually the whole of the front? Or do I want to go slightly smaller? And I think for this I'm going to go slightly smaller. And there is a reason for that, and it will become apparent in a minute. So the first off you want to do is you want to cut your aperture in here. So I'm just going to, bear with me 2 seconds whilst I do that. I'm not going to do it on the table simply because it's just going to shake the whole thing and you'll just get a bit seasick. And try and get this in the middle. Best laid plans and all that. So you will find this collection in the January to June mini catalogue. So that's where you will find the New Horizons. And then the stitched rectangles you will find in the annual catalogue. See, and I've now even got a scene that I've cut out of there that I can use for a different card. So that's my, that's going to be the front, and then the scene is going to go behind it. So the next thing I need to do is I need to decide where do I want to have my water or my scene like that, so my horizon is like in the bottom third, or do I want it in the top third, or do I want to turn it around so that I've got more of a blue here in the at the bottom, and it's really up to you how or where you want to do it. So I quite like that actually. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get a pencil. She says, oh no, I had one. Here we go. I had to borrow my husband's propelling pencil. Don't tell him, for goodness sake. And I'm just going to mark where the corners are on the paper, like so. It doesn't matter if you do use pen, because these are the outer guidelines, and you actually want to cut it slightly smaller because you don't want it to be hanging out along the edges at all. So I'll bring back my trimmer. So what I'm going to do is, I know that that's the outside edge. I'm just going to use this dark piece here. So I know then, if I line it up with that, or thereabouts, I know then that what I've cut is just going to be slightly smaller. As you can see, I've just gone within the those lines. So let's put that there. And then in theory, she says, it means that you should end up with something that will be slightly smaller, and you don't have to worry, unless you decide about it sticking out, unless of course you decide that actually you want to move it. So this is going to go on here like that, and this is going to go on here like that. So as you can see, we're already starting to create a view, which I am liking. And then what I thought I would do to be a little bit different is I'm actually going to put a frame around this to create more of like a window. So you're going to need a piece of basic white, and then you're going to need 2 dies, because you want one that's the same size as the actual aperture, and you want one that's slightly larger. That will then give you your frame. So you would take your piece of basic white, which I have here. Actually, you know what, I'm going to cut the bit to go on the inside first, and then I don't have to worry about that. So I'm going to cut a piece to go on the inside, which is going to be 10 by 14.4. So that will fit neatly inside the card. You can write on. Blackberry Bliss is not the easiest of colours to write on, as it's so dark. So I'm going to take my 2 frames, and I'm going to, so you can either, these always bend a little bit, so don't worry about it, you just bend the back into shape. Obviously don't go too hard with them. So I'm going to do it all in one go, simply because it's quicker. But if you don't feel confident doing it that way, then you can actually do them like the large one first, or it doesn't really matter which way around basically. But I actually, in good old true Blue Peter fashion, I do actually have one that I've already done. I didn't think you'd want to be spending all your time listening to me die cutting, because there's still a fair amount of die cutting to do. So here's the frame that I've already cut. So that's the smaller die, that's the larger die. And as you can see, it just gives you a nice little frame that will go around like so. Now if you want to have this popped up on dimensionals, then I would suggest that you actually use the foam sheets, because then you don't actually have to then sit there and cut lengths of dimensionals to fit behind. I'm going to keep it flat like that. But what I am going to do, and I've already done this, I've cut some small strips. Well, I say small strips, they're thin. So these are only 1/2 centimetre wide. And I just wanted to see what would happen if I kind of created a window. So this has basically got, so it would look like, or whether I just want to keep it simple. So if you were looking out the window, and we all have different sort of shaped windows and fancy windows and simple windows, and I do quite like that. And I would ask you what you think, but I can't see your comments, as I said. Let's have a quick look again to see if I can actually get this thing to work. Famous last words. Right, let's try again. I guess I ought to make sure that it's not gone live on my personal page. That would be interesting. Who knows? Well, I am live now on something, and I can see it. Right, okay. And I've got a sneaking suspicion that it's gone live on my personal page. But anyway, hi Tricia. I just saw your comment. So, right, okay. So, well, at least it's live, that's the main thing. So you can, if you want to, you can create the window. So you've got your window frame. If you want to put your some white also on there to create more how your windows may look. I mean, growing up, our windows kind of, we had two side windows which were big, and then the middle bit had like a little little piece going across that also opened. But maybe I won't do that. So I'm just going to stick them with the frame. So I'm going to glue that on to start off with. So as I said, if you wanted to pop it up, then the best thing would be to use some of the foam sheets. They are a godsend. Comes to these sorts of things. You don't need to go too mad with your glue, because you only want it to hold there. And just make sure that you're lined up with your aperture so that you're not, oops, it's gone a bit bendy, like that. Well, I've done it like this, and I can always change my mind in a minute if I wanted to actually then decide, okay, I am going to put some window panes and things in. I mean, you can go completely mad with this. You can put curtains on, you can do whatever you want to do. So here's so I've got my window, looking out at my scenery, and then I want to add something to it. And then the question is, what am I going to add? So we could add, where have my dies gone? So we could add some landscape, we could add mountains. See, the mountains would fit just neatly in there. So we could do that. Let's do that. So let's go and die cut a bit of, so I'm going to use the really dark Blackberry Bliss again. And I'm going to also use a piece of white. And we're just going to play, basically, and decide how we like this. Now, what did I do? That's not my, that's all right, there's a bit of scrap, so I don't need to worry about that. didn't want to be cutting into the middle. That would be a bit of a disaster. So I'm going to take my Blackberry Bliss and I'm going to put my do my mounting. And I'm going to go completely mad. Seeing as I'm die cutting, I may as well die cut the whole lot, and then I can decide which bits I want to use after all. So I'm going to use, I've got my trees, I've got my bits of landscape. I'm just going to do that. Try and fit them all on, which, considering I've got quite a large piece, I should. Maybe if I just rearrange them a bit better, that would work. There we go. So bear with me, any cracking noises of this. I like these dies because they come out quite easily. As you can see, left the bits on my cutting plate. So we've got bits of the landscape, which just says you can layer to create. You've got a piece here that you can use to create something else. And then what happened to there's the mountains, or part of them anyway. Oops. I've got a very wonky horizon as well. That's the other thing you need to bear in mind. Make sure that your horizon's straight. So I've got my horizon here. So I do need a piece of white to die cut. And find that other bit of mountain. There with my 2 ticks. Once I've done this bit, then I'm kind of done. And I was going to say it doesn't look much, but actually that's the bit that you don't need. Well, actually you could put it on as the reverse of the mounting, I guess. Let's see. Let's put that on, and then that would go kind of like that. And you just have a white bottom to the mountains, which doesn't really work, let's face it. So we've got our mountain, and you might take your pick tool to poke that out, like so. So that's going to sit on there for the mountains. So that means we've got snow-capped mountains. So that's going to go here. And in fact, because it fills the whole of this width of the aperture, you could not worry too much about using that as the horizon. You could bring it down slightly so that you've then got what looks like other mountains in the background, like so. And then it's also up to you whether you want to stick it directly on, or whether you want to, and then you could put this in the foreground as a, and I'm also going to play around with it like this, just to see how this goes. Maybe I want a bigger foreground, like that. That can go here, like so. So we've got some big mountains in the background, and we've got a little island in the foreground. And then you can also stamp on here to create other bits. So let's see, on the stamp set we have, well, we've got birds. We've got trees, And what else have we got? Oh, I just realised I don't have my Blackberry Bliss ink pad here. So maybe I will go the other way around so that I don't have too much. Because I don't have much, I do have space for stamping, I just don't have the right coloured ink. I just realised it's upstairs and I am not going to go and get it because I don't think you need to listen to the silence or all the sound of me clumping around trying to find it. So I'm going to do that and I'm going to put that here and I'm going to put some birds. Yeah, right, so birds. Birds I'm going to do in black because that's easy. I don't worry about that then. So I'm going to grab the little birdie stamp. And I need a block. I don't need that big block. Actually, I'll put it on here, I think. And you can go completely nuts with your birds. You can have one flock, two flocks. I have to admit, when I first looked at this, I wasn't too sure which way up these went. So I'm just going to put them here, like that. And I think I'm going to put a couple more on. Have them going over, so it's going to be a big flock of birds. And just move it slightly so that they don't kind of look too similar. I've got a little mark there, but I think I'm going to be lucky that it's going to be hidden by the frame. Yes, is now anyway. And then I know I said you're cutting this so that you don't actually have to change things around, but I've actually decided that I'm going to move mine up slightly. So I'm going to have the blue in the background for the horizon, for the sky, and have more of the pinks in the foreground. It's not the end of the world, it just means I'm going to have to cut a piece off. So I'm going to put my mountains on. Or I don't even have to put the mountains on, I could just go for the island with the... See, that's nice and simple. It looks very cute. So maybe I'll just do that. Keep it simple. I like simple cards. Yeah, I agree with you, Tricia. It would be a shame to cover up the scene with the windows, so which is why I haven't done it. So we've got like an island, and you could, if you wanted to, you could put some trees here so that the scene that you're kind of looking out at is going past some trees. But how much do I need to cut off? I need to cut off about 1 centimetre, so that's what I'm going to do. If I do it now, then I don't need to worry about it later. I'm going to put that on here. I'm going to have that on here. So I have moved this down a little bit like that. Now you can glue them together, especially if you just want a flat card. No, I don't want a flat card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back of this piece and then attach the other piece to it. Just to add some dimension, I guess, seeing as I'm using dimensionals. What I would suggest you do is you get your dimensionals and you could either use dimensionals or you can use the foam strips and put them around your aperture. Obviously, if you use the foam strips, then it's going to be a lot more secure because you just have the strips going all the way around. I'm just going to use single dimensionals. Now, I'm not too worried if this doesn't completely catch that paper, and I'll show you why in a second. Oops, got the dimensionals sticking to the dimensionals. Normally I would say don't go too mad with them, but there's nothing wrong with having a few extra on this. So I'm just going to peel the backings off. What I love about these is the backing's usually pretty easy to come off, so that's quite good. Which also means that they're really easy to go and travel around the house on various things like the cat and the dog and stuff. I'm just going to put that on here on my grid paper. Make sure that, kind of making sure that my horizon is fairly level. So I'm just using the squares there to make sure it is. Now I wanted more, so I'm going to hide that mark. I'm just going to put it down like that, hopefully. I don't want to stand up and put my head in the way because then you won't be able to see properly. So I've got dimensionals here that are sticking out, but I am not too worried about that. I do have, however, a tiny piece that's just slightly too long there. So the trick is you get your scissors and you just simply, if you go at an angle on the piece that you want to cut off, and kind of use the front piece as a guide, then you know that you are going underneath. So, oops, that's upside down. Well, I guess you could have your birds going that way. Right, so that's how that's going to sit on the card. So, because this bit's already got dimensionals on, the bit that you're going to just glue to the card is this piece, and then this will then just hold the other piece of the frame. If that makes sense. Make sure I've got my card the right way round. Put that on. So in effect, your back piece here is the piece that is glued to your card front. So there we go. So that's my card front, nearly finished. Now the question is, do we want to put this on? And the other thing is, of course, you can play around with this. You can have this going off, going on. I quite like it going that way. And then if you really want to put a sentiment on, you could put it on here. But I'm just going to glue that on as well. You could use this idea to make a nice framed picture for a loved one, or even for yourself. I might actually make myself one to go on my wall in my craft room. Tuck that under here. So I've got my island, like that. I don't think I really want to put anything else on. Oops. I could put that piece on as land. Actually, you could put it on like that, so then that looks more like a shadow. Maybe I'll do that. Let's see. I'll just take that bit off because I don't need it. Tuck that underneath. Like so. In fact, you could even go mad and put it on the other side as well, but I'm going to leave. Yeah, no, I don't know. And this is the thing. You can actually spend hours doing this. Depends how quickly you want to make a card. You don't even have to go with all the die cuts. You can just use the stamp set to create your scene. Or, as I said, you can just have lots of fun just doing playing around like this. In fact, you know what I am going to do? Put that on. Oops. I'm actually going to stick it on with a dimensional. And just tuck it under. Might need a little bit on the end there. Thought I would get away with it, but I don't think I'm going to. Which is a pain, but hey, never mind. Just kind of a little slither off. So this is where I was saying the if you use the foam adhesive shapes, you don't have to do this. You've then got it already cut to shape and already stuck on the back for you. There we go. Right. Okay. So there's my scene. As I said, you could put a sentiment on if you wanted to. You can stamp directly on there if you're brave, or you could stamp and then die cut it out and put it on. And then we've got to do the inside still. Now I know I cut that piece of white out. I've got a sneaking suspicion that I'm on it. I think that's it. So that's going to go on the inside, like so. And I'm just going to use some paper to, I mean, you could even put that on the inside, but probably not a good idea. I'm going to use some of this. I'm just going to cut a piece of this. I'm going to cut it so that it's like 1.5 centimetres wide. Like so. And then I'm just going to attach it down the end rather than across the bottom. Glue. Oh, I think I want the darker side on showing rather than the lighter. So what have we got going on this week? I'm trying to think. So we have, well, the retirement list is out. There are a fair number of things that have already sold out and that are no longer available. So if you had things on your list, I would suggest that you check sooner rather than later to see if they're still available. I'm putting an order in tonight for April's class. So those of you who live local and are happy to wait till I get back, well, I'll put the order in, happy to wait till I get back in April, let me know before 6 o'clock. If you'd like anything, and then I can add it to the order, and you of course can then save on the P&P. Don't forget P&P goes up on Friday, so you want to get those orders in before then. It's going up £2, so instead of £4.95 it's going to be £6.95. Still a bargain because it basically comes via courier, via UPS direct from the warehouse in Germany. That's if you're wanting shipping direct to you. And what else is going on? Yep, so 1st of April I also get to order from the new catalogue. So we have a new catalogue, new annual catalogue coming out in 3rd of May, I want to say. So it's just over a month away. And as a demonstrator, that means I get to pre-order some goodies from it, which is really exciting. But you too can take part in the pre-order. If you join in April, then you can actually add pre-order items to your starter kit. So if you'd like any more information about that, then send me an email. I'm more than happy to give you more information, or you can check it out on my blog. If you go to oakfieldcrafts.com and then click on the Join Now button, that has lots of information about what goes on, what you can do, what benefits you get, like being able to take part in pre-orders and being able to take part in various Stampin' Up activities and things. So so there's that. So yes, so we've got the retirement list, we've got the shipping going up, we've got the new catalogue. I will automatically be sending a new annual catalogues to those of you who have placed an order with me in the last 12 months. If you haven't placed an order but would still like a catalogue, then please go onto my blog, and there's a link on the right hand side in the column there. You can click on that and just send me your details so that I can then send you a catalogue. If you already have a UK demonstrator, please ask them. I would love for you to shop with me, but if you do have a demonstrator who you already shop with, then you should be they should be sending you a catalogue. And obviously if you're a demonstrator, then you don't need one. What else do I need to tell you? Oh, class closes tonight at 8 for April's class, and we're going to be using the Waves of the Ocean collection, so you'll get some papers and some rhinestones and other things. She says this is assuming that things haven't sold out by the time I come to order. Obviously if they have, then well, I'm still going to do my best to do the Waves of the Ocean class, but it may be some other goodies that you get in your kit. Right, I think that is it. As always, if you've got any questions, please leave a comment and I will get back to you. Thank you, Jackie. Yes. Oh, yeah, I love this paper and what you can do with it. It's just such fun to play with. As you can say, I've just been yabbiting on for the last goodness knows how long about how you use your die cuts and things, and the fact that you could get lost just playing and creating little scenes to your heart's content. So that's it. I will post this we'll go onto Facebook in a minute or two, and then it'll get put up onto YouTube too, but that'll take a little bit longer. And in the meantime, enjoy your week. As I said, if you want to order anything, then please let me know by 6 p.m. today. Or obviously go online and order direct for yourself, but bear in mind that shipping's going up on the 1st of April. I know it's not an April Fool's. I would love for it to be an April Fool's, but it's not. So that's it. So take care, and I'll see you again. I was going to say next week, but next week we do have Card and a Cuppa. Wow. So it'll be April. So yeah, Card and a Cuppa next week. Kits have gone out, so Trisha, Linda, Carol will be at Home Grange from 10, and I will be doing a virtual Card and a Cuppa at 2:30. So take care, and I'll see you then. Bye.